Fox Mulder is a real hero.
I mean, Mulder is he's a loner.
I didn't set out to make him likable. In fact, he's kind of unlikable.
He's trying to keep that cool image.
Spooky.
I think he's got that geek appeal.
How do you respond to these allegations, Agent Mulder?
And becomes likable because he has a kind of commitment to his own thing.
Yeah, Mulder's insane.
A guy who's after the truth at all costs, unafraid to face his own death.
You know, if he cares what somebody thinks, it would be what Scully thinks.
I'm here just like you to solve this.
A man with a mission.
Where is she?
Fox Mulder, though, is really he's really a modern hero.
The X-Files, 5 nights a week, only on FX.
I played a character called Deep Throat.
Leave this case alone, Agent Mulder.
The need was to get Mulder to take certain information and run with it. I can provide you with information. Everybody wants to believe that the government is hiding something. So if you have somebody who's revealing what they're hiding, he's got to be telling the truth. And it was agreed that should any extraterrestrial survive a crash, the country that held that being would be responsible for its extermination. The last words that came out of my mouth,
Trust no one.
At the end of the first season, Chris sent me a little note saying nobody ever really dies on X-Files.
The X-Files, 5 nights a week, only on FX.
Squeeze? We said, well, we're working late. Wouldn't it be weird if a guy came
through the grill, if the guy could somehow squeeze himself through?
When he came out of that heating vent in the ground, first we shot the background, then from the same camera position, we wrapped everything in blue and we had him coming out. So then I could take his body and just stretch it and put it back digitally into the room. When you see him enter the chimney, we got a contortionist. It's meant to look like the chimney's like, 20 feet tall and really skinny, but in fact, the skinny part was only a few inches high. So a contortionist could get through it, because it wasn't like going into a pipe, it was like going through a belt.
The slime, we used baking piping gel. I remember buttering these people up with this yellow, sugary substance that would dry on their skin and was pulling all their hair off their body.
Is there any way I can get off my fingers quickly without betraying my cool exterior?
The X-Files, 5 nights a week, only on FX.
My name is Mark Snow. I compose all the music for the X-Files. The theme came about when Chris Carter came here, visited my studio and me, and started talking about all the different kinds of musics he liked. So I tried to come up with something, and I did. He came over and said, gee, I really love it, but it's just, it needs a and it's not quite. I said, okay, no problem. Let's go for number 2, okay? Same thing happened with 2, henceforth 3. So literally, he walks out the door, and I put my hand down on the keyboard, and there was this sound that just happened to be there. I thought, boy, this sounds like a good TV theme.
The X-Files, 5 nights a week, only on FX.
My name's Toby Lindeley. I'm makeup effects artist on X-Files.
Here for Delicacy?
Myself. Been playing with it since about 10 or 11 years old. I started out in the first season essentially doing the show myself. So I was young, starting out, but they gave me a shot at it. Woohoo! The nose bleeding gag in the pilot. We did a test for them just to make sure it was all going to work fine. Dan Sackheim and Chris Carter are standing there watching. Oh, we got some blood coming out here, but I got this big trail coming from her hairline in the test. Just before the camera's about to roll, Dan turns to me and said, it's not going to come from up here this time, is it? I was like, oh, I hope not. We've only been here for a year and 2/3. Previous to that, we've been working on my basement. It got pretty tight. That's our head tree. We dress them up for different occasions, little Santa hats. Everything's really specific per episode. This is one of the dummies from Synchrony, Dr. Hiro Kanagawa. We try to stick to a reality basis. We shoot it all, and a lot of times it's cut down to quick sequences.
X-Files, 5 nights a week, only on FX.
My name's Bruce Harwood.
Tom Braidwood.
Dean Haglin.
Byers.
Langley. Frohickey and the Lone Gunman.
These guys are like an extreme government watchdog group. They publish a magazine called The Lone Gunman.
We went to this UFO convention. There were 3 guys behind the counter. They had all these flyers about space shuttle launch schedules to things George Bush was doing. And they got into this thing where they said,
You got a $20 bill?
your money is magnetized.
The secret government uses these plastic strips to track people. The props man came up to me. These are the $20 bills. You've only got 10 chances.
Probably about $120 was destroyed.
We kept doing it wrong.
Some of their information is first-rate, covert actions, classified weapons. Some of their ideas are downright spooky.
Faces on Mars.
UFOs caused the Gulf War syndrome.
Babies with tails.
JFK was a suicide.
Our first scene in EBE where I said,
That's why we like you, Mulder. Your ideas are weirder than ours.
The X-Files, 5 nights a week, only on FX.
My first meeting at X-Files was over this alien worm. I think it was the special effects person thought of the idea of putting a baby snake in a latex suit.
Don't you know? Know what?
You can't put a snake in a latex suit. So I suggested the worm that they did use, a super mealworm. It's actually like a beetle larva.
This dog, it's got a skin irritation around its neck.
Looks like it's been scratching off its own hair. The dog piece that was the back of the dog's neck. And essentially I just took a juice jug, glued the mechanical piece on first. There was a wire making a loop and a bunch of beads that were tooled down into these different sort of shapes that would actuate the bump on top. Painted very dark so they'd read through. Then a gelatin skin.
Look at this. Look at this.
And then a bunch of fur work on top of that. Transferred a lot of bear fur, actually, to match the dog.
The X-Files, 5 nights a week, only on FX.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere.
You know, there's certain episodes that make David and Jillian work harder in their own ways.
I never thought I'd say this.
Well, she was so good in that episode.
But what if there's another explanation?
The famous Thanksgiving Brad Dourif story, they wrote this part.
Luther Lee Boggs.
And he was the first person that I thought about.
Brad Dourif. We're like, yeah, absolutely.
But he wanted a lot of money.
Don't deal with it.
It got to the point where it was Thanksgiving weekend.
He strangled 5 family members over Thanksgiving dinner.
Jim and I said, well, we'll give our script fee to go to getting Brad Dourif. And so they said, okay, but, you know, we were like, whew.
And it was, you know, one of those brilliant episodes.
You watch a dailies with Brad Dourif, you know, you're just going, who wrote this?
Why don't you just go ahead and ask me?
The X-Files, 5 nights a week, only on FX.
My name's Kathy Sharp. I'm a props assistant on the X-Files. We're in the props truck. We keep props that have been used over the years, stuff like medical supplies, forensic equipment, rubber gloves, masks, all kinds of license plates from all over the darn place. Rental stickers for Mulder and Scully's cars, which are always from the same rental company. Regular glasses, very reflective, non-reflective. Rings, watches. You want to see the watches? You can't let people use their own watches because if you need to do an insert, you need to be able to have the right watch. This is David's watch. These watches come with a metal band. He doesn't like them. Badges, IDs, to identify yourself as an FBI agent. I seem to go through a lot of these. It's a popular item. His driver's license number is 123-321-321. His Vista Gold card. Totally made up. This is a light that they both use a lot. It's a diving light. They do a lot of that on the show.
The X-Files, 5 nights a week, only on FX.
A lot of the conceit of the show is that it's really told from Dana Scully's point of view. As a woman, as a character, she is a very strong, solid person.
Drop your weapon!
She's smart and she's driven and she's also very emotional.
The intellectual skeptic, originally hired to watch over Mulder.
Am I to understand that you want me to debunk the X-Files project, sir?
Agent Scully, we trust you'll make the proper scientific analysis.
She starts off trying to do that.
If it's not human, what is it?
But she allows us to say, no, it could be this.
It's a chimpanzee or something from the ape family, possibly an orangutan.
So in a way, Dana Scully is us, people who don't believe in things that go bump in the night.
What was that?
The X-Files, 5 nights a week, only on FX.
Mind if I tidy up in here a bit first?
We just bring in all the furniture, all the little bits. Mulder collects old things, odd things, so whenever we find something, it gets added to the set. He has pet goldfish. They weren't there at the beginning, but somewhere along the line, goldfish were scripted, so we got him a fish tank. And it's kind of nice, because he's got a little pet at home, you know? We're in Mulder's office, and this was established in the pilot.
I started out, this room was where they kept the copier.
It's changed. It got more organized. Once a week, we come in and change whatever projects he's working on. We subscribe to a lot of science journals and cut things out.
We have to scramble to find all this stuff.
I mean, we just look for unusual things and dress the bookcases with topical things, you know, things he'd be interested in.
But it does look authentic.
You know, a lot of what we do you don't get to see because sets serve as backgrounds for actors.
The X-Files, 5 nights a week, only on FX.
My favorite episode, I think, is Erlenmeyer Flask. It was the season finale the first year.
They're shutting us down, Scully.
It was the best script by far, and it was also the most incredibly difficult. So I had a sort of a combination of elation at this fabulous script and stark terror that I was the one that had to go direct it.
Evidence still exists.
Where?
It might be difficult to obtain, but with your medical background, I might be able to get you inside.
That was the little guy that Scully pulled from the liquid nitrogen. We did a bunch of tests with putting the stuff in actual liquid nitrogen, pulled it out, and it would frost over and steam. But unfortunately, it wasn't under hot studio lights. On the day, we came under the hot lights, and there was a lot of stress on the piece and a lot of stress on me subsequently because the thing started falling apart. I was frantically just gluing the ones back together. One piece just got out of the shop before a big chunk of the head went blasting out that direction.
The X-Files.